You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero is an international best-selling self-help book that helps us understand our behaviors and attitudes so that we can transform our lives and achieve incredible things. It links with the principles of the law of attraction, sharing the same philosophies and ideologies. There is an emphasis on the existence of a source energy which connects us deeply to the universe. Sincero's lighthearted and humorous approach to self-discovery makes difficult concepts easier to grasp. Her own life serves as an example of how transformation is possible if we are serious about it. She used these struggles to her advantage and created a kick-ass life. Her journey from broke to badass should serve as an inspiration and a reminder that anything is possible if we open up ourselves to new beliefs and opportunities. Regardless of age, gender, or circumstance, change is possible if we are willing to fully commit to it and work on improving our situation. My subconscious made me do it. We have a conscious mind and a subconscious mind. The conscious mind is where we process information. It jumps from one thought to the next without stopping to take a breath, switching off temporarily when we drift to sleep, but springing back to action as soon as we open our eyes. It's that part of the brain that is unable to distinguish a lie from the truth. It believes anything that is communicated. The subconscious mind, on the other hand, is the non-analytical part of our brain that's in charge of our feelings and instincts. This is also the repository of all early information we get from different sources. When we are kids, we take information from different people that surround us, and we have no ability to filter this information because our frontal lobes haven't fully developed yet. All this information is stored in our subconscious minds as truths and beliefs. It stays there undisturbed and unanalyzed until we are forced to confront the information. We are essentially oblivious to our subconscious beliefs, but they control our lives. Our conscious minds like to think that it's in total control, but it's our subconscious mind that takes charge. This is why we go through life doing things that we know from our conscious minds, but remain clueless as to why we do not develop to our full potential and create the lives that we really want. No matter how we consciously do things to achieve the results we want, if the subconscious belief is not available to us, we will not be able to reach our goal. The things we do are driven by our subconscious minds, and if they are not aligned to the things and experiences that we want in our conscious minds, it creates conflict. What we're trying to create and the things that we are actually creating are completely out of sync, so we must rid ourselves of the limiting subconscious beliefs by becoming aware of their existence. This opens up a space to welcome new beliefs and experiences that we want to have in our lives. The G word. It's important to develop an awareness of a source energy that surrounds us and lives inside of us. It has nothing to do with religion. Regardless of our stand on the issue of God, we should have an open mind and acknowledge the presence of a higher being or energy. Doing so will make it much easier to do things that can improve our lives. Developing a relationship with this source is the first step to creating an excellent life. We are connected to this limitless power or energy, but we are not using this connection to its full potential. A deep connection to the source energy is like having an invisible inner superpower that can bring about the things we want in our lives. The basic idea of the law of attraction is to focus on what makes us feel good so we can attract the things we desire. This occurs because all energy vibrates at a certain frequency level. Everything you desire and don't desire also emits a certain frequency. When your own frequency is in sync with the frequency of your desires, you're bound to get them. Simply put, vibration attracts like vibration. To match the vibration of the things we want, we need to raise our own frequency. At high frequency, we can effortlessly find the right people and opportunities that can help us get what we want. Staying in the highest frequency allows us to harness our innate power to create the reality that we truly desire. To do this, we have to believe that everything we desire is available to us. It's also important that we keep a strong connection to the invisible source energy. This is an exercise in making our faith greater than our fear. Present as a pigeon. Most of us go through life switching between freaking out and living in the now. We spend such a crazy amount of time worrying about the negative things that may not happen that we completely ignore the miracle that's happening right at this moment. It's a real shame that even if we live in a limitless universe overflowing with abundance and miracles, we'd rather go through life stumbling. The universe wants us to succeed and wants us to partake in all it can offer by sending little wake-up calls. The only thing we need to do is to learn to be aware of them. The things that we want to have already exist in the universe. The money that seems elusive is already there for the taking. The life partner we want to meet is already alive. The things that we want to experience are already available to us. We just need to manifest those things into our reality. Being present in the moment and being connected to the source energy can help us become aware that the things we want in life already exist in the now and that we can have them anytime. It's just a matter of making ourselves truly available to accept them. If we continuously bombard ourselves with endless noise in our head, we fail to attract the positive frequency that the universe is constantly sending to us. By getting wrapped up with the things we don't want, we miss out on what's readily available to us at this moment. Spending more of our time in the moment connects us to the source energy, which consequently increases our frequency. The big snooze. In the realm of spirituality, the ego refers to the false self or the shadow self. It's that destructive version of ourself that can sabotage our happiness. The ego, or the big snooze as the author likes to call it, operates based on our limiting false beliefs. These beliefs are essentially the garbage stuffed into our subconscious when we were still kids. They are not the real truths because they are based on fear and to get validation from outside sources. They are the very same things that keep us safely confined within a false reality created based on limiting false beliefs. This is why we were happy to stay in our comfort zones. The ego lives in the past and keeps us separated from everything around us. Our true selves, on the other hand, operate based on our strong connection to the source energy. It gets validation from deep inside ourselves. It's based on love, not fear. It's proactive, not reactive. Once we break away from the limits imposed upon us by the ego, we can commit to creating a reality that is based on our limitless potential. Our true selves do not live in our heads, they live in the now. If we let the ego control our lives, we settle for the realities that are so beneath what's available to us. We need to realize that we deserve better than that, and we should work to stop self-sabotaging ourselves and get out of our comfort zones. Taking a huge leap of faith is not irresponsible. It's a great way to free ourselves from the clutches of fear and anxiety. Often, taking the leap is a wake-up call that we need to make positive changes in our lives. Staying in the risk-free zone makes the ego content, and that's something that we don't want to happen if we desire something better. The ego creates chaos because it wants to keep things as it is, instead of wanting to move into the unknown. It's time to rewire our beliefs and go for what's truly in our hearts. The ego will do everything to stop us because it's hardwired to do so. It will set up emotional blocks and pull us right back into the land of mediocrity and away from greatness. Self-perception is a zoo. It's difficult to view ourselves in a positive light. We are content with our self-deprecating ways. What we don't realize is that it takes the same amount of energy and focus to believe in the negative as it does to believe in the positive. Why do we always choose the negative side of things when we know that it's so unnecessary? Instead, we should try to see ourselves through the eyes of people who truly admire us. This is because they are not connected to our insecurities and our negative self-perceptions. They only see our potential and our greatness. It would be unfair to treat ourselves as less than what we truly are. Even the universe is rallying behind us to start seeing ourselves as great individuals in our own right. The journey that is called life has no defined beginning, middle, or end, so the only thing that's clearly established is our very own existence, the act of being. Our only job is to be. Love the one you are. We're born with an understanding of the basics of life. This is what we call human instinct. We learn how to do things without a care in the world. We don't hold back from doing them. As we grow and interact with more people, this primal understanding is replaced by negative beliefs. Shame, self-doubt, and fear push their way into our conscious mind and dominate our lives. We end up in emotional and physical pain that we try to numb with things that give us temporary relief like drugs, food, or alcohol. We have a choice to begin again. If we remind ourselves of how great we are, we can relearn the instincts that we've lost. This time around, we should trust our instincts instead of believing in things that other people say. We should stop buying into the things that are not true for us. We need to reconnect with our true selves and start investing in things that match what we want to achieve. Only then can we start to live rich and fulfilling lives. It's time to love ourselves and let go of shame, guilt, and self-loathing. We can get back our true selves by acknowledging and appreciating how special we are. We should embrace our own uniqueness and treat our flaws as part of what makes us special. We should drown ourselves in affirmations because it helps rewire our brains to think according to the principles of the law of attraction. We should start doing the things we love to do and make sure we find time to do them regularly. It's not healthy to deprive ourselves of things that make us feel the most alive. We should adjust our thought and behavior patterns by replacing the negatives with the positives. We should get rid of our self-deprecating ways because it builds a negative perception of ourselves. They are false and destructive beliefs that can ruin our self-confidence. Most importantly, we should let love into our lives by taking care of ourselves physically, mentally, and spiritually. We should stop comparing ourselves to others because doing so makes us desire other people's standards. If we have made mistakes in the past, we should learn to forgive ourselves. If we love ourselves, we are on the right path to true happiness. I know you are, but what am I? The reason we don't get anywhere near our maximum potential is that we place so much importance on what other people say about us. We have the tendency to please everyone around us, and we take their opinions as absolute truths. The problem is that we use their opinions to motivate us. If we are motivated by false beliefs, what we achieve will not be fulfilling. Our obsession with how others perceive us is not only destructive, but it's also pointless. Our decision-making process should be guided by questions that pertain to our feelings. We should ask if it's something that we really want to do or if it's something that takes us in the direction we want to go. We should also ask if doing something would affect others negatively. It may sound selfish, but we have to do things that we want to do and not do what we should do because other people say so. The obsession to seek approval from others stems from our fear of being rejected by the group we belong to or identify with. There's fear that we won't survive without them, when in reality, it's much easier to achieve our goals when we're free to do whatever we want to do. This mentality stops us from breaking away from the herd and letting our true selves shine through. We need to understand that what other people think of us has nothing to do with us, but everything to do with them. It doesn't mean we should completely ignore criticisms. We just should not allow them to have power over us. Our self-worth should not be based on other people's opinions. We should learn to take the benefit from outside opinions and throw away the toxic ones. Just remember that we are above what others say about us. What are you doing here? We are born with valuable gifts. These gifts come in the form of talents, skills, or special abilities that make us unique. When we share these gifts with others, we become aligned with our highest and most powerful selves. Many of us don't immediately know what our gifts are, but once we figure that out, we can start living our lives with a purpose. Being completely confused about our real purpose in life is not a bad thing. What we need to keep in mind is that the answer to that question already exists. We just need to find clarity first. To figure out our true calling, we must first be the alien. If we have the mindset of an alien, we treat everything around us as a new opportunity. We become curious and inquisitive. From this curiosity, we can explore things that we never knew existed. From there, we can create new things. It's just like looking at things with a new pair of eyes and discovering that the possibilities are endless. There's a tendency to waste our lives trying to figure out what action to take when the only thing that's needed is to actually do something. Taking action is the first step. We may not have a full understanding of what we need to do or where we need to go, but if we make the move based on our own feelings and instincts, half the battle is won. There's no guarantee that all hopes and dreams will become reality right away, but if we take the first step, we are setting the wheels in motion. Life is a journey, and everything we do along the way contributes to our journey. Doing the best we can, even in the littlest things we do, takes us closer to where we need to go. We have this notion that living an extraordinary life is difficult because we think that we have to overhaul ourselves to do it. We do not have to create an ideal self from scratch. All we have to do is figure out what makes us feel alive. The more specific we are, the easier it is for us to create a clear picture of what we want. We are constantly evolving, so it's possible that our wants can change over time. We may even have to answer many callings before we find the real one. The important thing is to do what feels good right now. If nothing seems to be working, tuning into our intuition is always a good starting point. It also doesn't hurt to follow our fantasies. We usually fantasize about the things that make us happy. They are windows to who we are, and they represent our innermost desires. If we can tap into the things that bring us joy and fulfillment, then we can get some clarity on our purpose. Loincloth man. A loincloth man once said that modern society had become so unnecessarily complicated and misguided that he chose to live on what nature provided him. He was true to himself, and he was happy despite subsisting on the bare necessities. We all could learn a thing or two from this loincloth man. He didn't need anyone's approval to live the life he wanted to live. He was unapologetic for the choices he made because he was living the life that made him happy and fulfilled. He's proof that we can do whatever pleases us without fear of judgment. Meditation 101. Meditation is simply sitting still and doing nothing. It's ridiculously easy on paper, but incredibly difficult in practice. The main goal of meditation is to quiet the mind and connect to the source energy. We are urged to do meditations regularly to fine-tune our frequencies to be in sync with the frequency of the universe. Starting is always hard because our mind is not used to being in a state of quiet. The best way is to gradually get into the habit of doing 5 to 10 minutes of meditation each day and adding more time as it becomes more comfortable to do so. Meditation can greatly improve our lives because it connects us to the source energy, whatever that may be to us. It could be God, the force, or a supreme being. When we meditate, we shift into the present moment and we relax. In our relaxed state, our stress goes away and our intuition strengthens. It raises our frequency and opens us up to receive unlimited information and ideas. The best way to start is to sit comfortably on the floor or in a chair with hands on your lap. Closing your eyes helps you focus on breathing. When you've reached a comfortable position, release any thoughts that come to mind. Make sure that your mind is as clear and empty as possible. Be aware of intuitive thoughts that may or may not arise. It may be difficult to get it right the first time, but there's no need to worry about the right way or wrong way of doing things. You just have to do it. When nothing works, there's always guided meditation using CDs, DVDs, or apps. Meditation is an important habit, especially in this day and age when technology bombards us with information. This distraction has become such a big part of our day-to-day living that it becomes difficult to focus on silencing our busy minds. Meditation is our respite from the distractions of life. Your brain is your bitch. The universe is a genius wrapped in awesomeness. It's magnificently complex, and yet it's also astonishingly efficient. It's not random. It's by design. It's a well-oiled machine that runs like clockwork. With its intelligence, everything has a place and purpose. But what makes it operate in such a brilliant way? It's our mind. Our mind is the thinking matter used to create us. If we can appreciate the depth of that statement, we'll be able to understand why positive thinking is necessary. If we stop to think that our thoughts are the most powerful tool in our arsenal, then we can create spectacular things to improve our way of life. We can create better and more meaningful realities. We can use the power of thought to change the negativity that surrounds us. It doesn't matter what our current realities look like because where we desire to be is the truth. If we train our minds to focus on this truth, we must believe that what we desire is already here. If we take decisive actions, what we desire will manifest itself. It's a matter of getting into the proper mindset. We all desire the best things in life, but we fail to get them because we don't buy into the idea that we can succeed. We have the tendency not to believe in our abilities. It's these limiting false truths that stop us from getting what we truly desire. Our thoughts and beliefs dictate what our realities could be. So if we want to change our realities, the only way to do it is to change our thoughts and our beliefs. It's easier said than done because we tend to be protective of our false beliefs about ourselves. Our reality will begin to shift the moment we start believing in things that have yet to come about. It's important to keep our thoughts directed to our goals by doing things to make our goals happen. It takes patience, determination, and a shift in thinking, but it's perfectly doable. Lead with your crotch. Creative pursuits bring spectacular results when we put the focus on creating things with reckless abandon. This is true especially at a younger age when we are not yet jaded by failure. We take big leaps of faith and disregard the what-ifs that paralyze us and put limits on what we can do. It's when we get older that we become grown-up versions of our reckless selves. We buy into the idea that having responsibilities means not having fun anymore. We lose all excitement about life. We settle for less and accept the mediocrity of our lives. Life is too short. That's why there's no point in just waiting for the journey to end. We have to allow ourselves to dream and make a conscious effort to make that dream come true. Fears brought on by negative past experiences must be overcome if we are to live life to the fullest. Even if the negatives outnumber the positives, we still need to focus on the latter. We need to reconnect with our inner kids. It may sound ridiculous and nonsensical, but if we think about our lives when we were younger, we find that all these things make sense. It's through our inner kids that we get excited about life and we do all sorts of things that make us happy. If we are having trouble finding our way, we should think back to the time when we were totally pumped up by life. Give and let give. Giving is one of life's greatest joys. It is also one of the most powerful gestures that any human being can do. This act of selflessness is also a show of fearlessness. We live in an abundant universe, and when we give things freely, we raise our frequencies. This act of kindness strengthens our faith and puts us in a position to receive abundance. We hold on to things because we don't trust that there's more where they came from. We fear that by giving away what we have, we stand to lose more. We should remind ourselves that we live in the universe where every action has an equal and opposite reaction. The more we give, the more we receive. We've known this for a fact ever since we can remember, but we refuse to accept it as a positive truth. It's a simple principle that can easily be applied. Doing so can add a huge shift in our lives. Gratitude, the gateway drug to awesomeness. Being in a state of gratitude allows us more access to the universe's abundant supply of awesomeness. Having gratitude goes beyond being polite and having good manners. It's a state of being wherein we become aware of the miracles in life and we develop a deep appreciation for them. Think of the times you felt great by thanking someone for doing something for you. The act does not only make us feel grateful, but it also makes the other party feel great, which in turn makes us feel great too. It's a cycle that keeps on giving. This raises our frequencies and it becomes easier to connect to the source energy. It puts us in a more powerful state of being and good things start to happen. Conversely, when we go through life being angry, bitter, and disappointed, we lower our frequencies and we are in a less powerful state, so it's difficult to bring about good feelings and experiences. What's great about gratitude is that we are expending a lot of positive energy that bounces back to us. It's an exchange of high-frequency energy so powerful that great things start happening in our lives. The more we stay consistent in the state of gratitude, the stronger our connection is to the source energy. Consequently, the manifestation of the reality we want to have comes to us effortlessly. Gratitude also strengthens our faith, which is a necessary element when we finally decide to go outside of our comfort zone. We need this faith in the unknown to create new realities that improve our lives. Being in a state of gratitude sends signals to the universe that we know that what we desire already exists and puts us in the right frequency to receive it. Forgive or fester. When we feel physical pain, we immediately spring to action to find relief, but when it comes to emotional pain, we torture ourselves to no end. We wallow in negative emotions of guilt, shame, and resentment, which leads us to protracted misery that we really don't need. When we keep reliving the worst moments in our lives, we refuse to let the healing process begin. Forgiving ourselves and others melt away the negative feelings we have inside. It's a necessary condition to raise our frequencies. We can't allow anger and resentment to fester because they are roadblocks to happiness. Forgiveness means letting go of ill feelings towards people who have done us wrong. This is a difficult thing to do, and it takes strength and courage, but it's crucial to our well-being. To start the process of forgiveness, we need to have compassion towards the people who have wronged us. It starts the healing process and prepares us to completely erase those people from the equation. We're constantly being told to take the high road and refrain from engaging further with the people who bring out the worst in us. We feel that we are right and they are wrong, but it's no longer about being right and being wrong. It's about deciding to be happy rather than to be right. If we really want to let go, we should be okay with letting them think that they are right. This is less difficult to do if we look from all angles. It gives different perspectives so that we can begin to understand that we can't have our way all the time. Venting is a great way to shake off the hurt. If we do it alone to the point of exhaustion, we'll feel the anger melt away. Getting the negative feelings out of our system is part of the healing process. What's great about this is that we probably won't remember any of this. If we love ourselves, we should be able to let go and forget about it. Loosen your bone, Wilma. The author's trip to India taught her lessons in life that she wouldn't otherwise have learned. India is vibrant, chaotic, and filled to the brim with humanity. A 12-hour bus ride through a city can be a lesson in spirituality and life. It's a life-changing journey that involves talking to many strangers, finding humor even in the worst of situations. It's so easy once you figure out it isn't hard. We live our lives differently, but we have something in common when it comes to our desires. We can see what we want, and we do things to get it even if it kills us. This is because we keep doing the same thing over and over, and we expect to have a different result. When something is not working, we keep doing it thinking that if we do it enough, it will work. What we need to do is to take a moment to look at things differently so we can find the solution that we need. We're too caught up with drama and false beliefs that we fail to see that we are presented with infinite possibilities and opportunities. We fail to take notice of the important things because our focus is directed elsewhere, on things that don't matter. What we focus on becomes our reality. If we focus on the wrong things, we shouldn't be surprised when wrong things manifest in our lives. We can create the reality that we want. We just need to focus on the right things. We need to ditch our attachments that don't serve us. We can change our lives the moment we choose to change them. We don't have to be stuck in a bad version of the reality that we want. It's just a matter of changing the way we perceive things around us to break the cycle of false beliefs about ourselves and about life. Procrastination, perfection, and a Polish beer garden. We often say that we are not qualified for a job because we do not have the skills and experience to pull it off. What we're really saying is that we are too afraid to try it. We know we can do it, but we lack the determination to do it successfully. We spend more time making excuses and giving 100 reasons why we can't do it when we should be using all that energy to try. We fail to realize that we know more than we give ourselves credit for. If we are given a job that we want but are afraid to do, we should remember that we are drawn to things that we are naturally good at. From that alone, we know that we are capable of doing the job. Even if we have no experience, the necessity of completing the job gives us the push that we need to finish it. If our passion is bigger than our fears, we'll do whatever it takes to get the job done. We'll realize that we are more qualified than we thought. The more we do things that we thought we were unqualified for, the more we can prove we are the perfect people to handle the job. Another form of self-sabotage is procrastination. We find things to do other than the things that we're supposedly doing. It is easy to procrastinate because it does not require us to jump into action. It delays us from getting the things that we want. If we are truly serious about changing our lives, we won't find an excuse. It's when we're not ready that procrastination rears its ugly head. To combat procrastination, we should remember that nothing will ever be 100% perfect, so the best way to get things done is to keep the momentum going. One trick is to make a bet with someone who will hold us to it and make sure that we bet something so big that losing would be painful. The drama of overwhelm. Most of the pain and suffering in our lives is caused by unnecessary stress, worry, and drama. We are so easily overwhelmed by fear and anxiety that they affect our productivity and our reality. We resort to drama and needlessly regret not doing things earlier. We are paralyzed by the drama that we create, and this holds us back from achieving the things that we really want. If we shift our perspective, we'll see that we are incredibly blessed by opportunities and experiences. It's a mystery why we choose to freak out about all these blessings instead of enjoying them. To solve this mystery, we need to bust the myths we have about being overwhelmed. One thing is time and the lack of it. What we need to realize is that not having time is just an illusion. To illustrate this, think of the times we were forced to do something and suddenly you had time to do it. This just shows that time is always there, but we limit ourselves by believing that there is not enough time. Knowing this can change our perception of time drastically and make it work for us instead of us being enslaved by the illusions we created in our minds. Disrespecting time affects our alignment to the universe. It sends all the wrong signals. We need to give time the proper respect that it deserves by not wasting it. To have a good relationship with time, we must manage it properly. Often, we waste time doing things that we shouldn't be doing in the first place. That's why there's an illusion of lack of time. If we use the time to do things that matter, we can create a better version of our current realities. When we think that there's a limit to time, we are easily overwhelmed by huge tasks. We start to question our abilities to accomplish them. It's not time that stops us from achieving. It's the overwhelming feeling of the task presented to us. If we cut a huge task into bite-sized pieces, we'll immediately see how easy it is to complete the task. Fear is for suckers. Fear will always be present in our lives. The problem is that we may have made being afraid a habit. When we are scared, we condition ourselves to play it safe and avoid risks. What's worse is that we tell everyone to do the same thing. Instead of being excited about new opportunities, we recoil with terror. If we see someone taking the plunge, we feel afraid for them. When we do something outside of our comfort zones, sirens go off to warn us. What we don't realize is that what we fear usually doesn't happen. Our unhealthy relationship with fear should be changed. Fear is not going to disappear from our lives, so we need to learn to be comfortable with its presence. Instead of being terrified all the time, we should learn to exist alongside fear. We have the choice to be fearful or not. One way to handle fear is to have faith in ourselves and in the unknown. We should ask ourselves if the fear is greater than the faith we have. The incredible moment we decide to go for it is the moment we gain total freedom from fear. It's a powerful thing to have, and it helps us create new realities. When we are beset by fear, we should flip it around and make it work for us. If we keep living in fear, we are wasting our time and energy. We must have faith in ourselves and remember that we are sufficiently equipped to deal with any situation. When we take the leap of faith, we must stay connected to the source energy. We have to use fear to our advantage and soar above it because we are greater than our fears. Millions of mirrors. The people we interact with reveal information about themselves either in spurts or at full disclosure. We filter this information based on our perceptions and judgments. We decide if the person is someone we want to get to know better. It's not surprising that the people we are drawn to are the people that remind us of ourselves. They are mirrors that project the things that we like and do not like. Our reality is created by the things we focus on. This includes the people in our lives. We surround ourselves with people that show us how much or how little we love ourselves. We attract different kinds of people for a reason, and that's primarily to help each other grow and figure things out. We have to learn from our interaction instead of just reacting negatively to things that annoy us. We react because others' behavior trigger the insecurities, fears, and anxieties that we have lurking inside. If we continue to focus on beliefs about who we are and what we want to be, we will attract people with the same traits as us. If we have a generally negative belief about ourselves, then we'll attract people who have the characteristics that we don't like about ourselves. We need to learn to be good to ourselves. It's about respecting and loving ourselves, flaws and all. The sweet life. We have the tendency to do things only when we're richer and more stable in life. When it comes to the people we love, we should not make them wait, and we shouldn't waste time doing unimportant things. We need to start paying attention to people that matter to us. We need to start right now and not when we think we're ready. As humans, we age quite quickly and will never be young again, so we need to seize the opportunity and spend time with family and friends as much as possible. If we keep flaking out, we are missing out on the best things that life can offer. Our lives are happening right at this moment. We have to live them by loving ourselves and the important people in our lives. It helps to remind ourselves that we are loved, we are powerful, and we are surrounded by life's miracles. The almighty decision. Making a decision means we fully commit to it. We sign up to continue moving towards our goals, no matter how many roadblocks along the way. Committing to a decision is a tough thing to do because it not only makes us uncomfortable, it also makes us question ourselves. However, if we are serious about achieving goals, then we should do whatever it takes to achieve them. This act of commitment connects our desires to the source energy. It's crucial to our understanding of ourselves and the universe. If we do not have a strong connection, it's easy to give up when we're pushed to our breaking point. The road to success is not always a straight path. Often, it's going from failure to failure and crisscrossing uncharted territories. If we are not equipped with the will and conviction to succeed, we will not make it out alive. If we remain passionate and enthusiastic about our journey, even in the face of seemingly insurmountable challenges, then success will come to us sooner than we think. If we are paralyzed with indecision, we are unable to move forward. If we avoid committing to a decision, we are avoiding the success that we so desire. We need to fully trust ourselves to make the right decisions. Sometimes it takes a combination of research and intuition to come to a decision. We need to start learning to make smart and sound decisions even in the face of uncertainties. Failure is just temporary. Every highly successful personality has had his or her fair share of failures before they became stalwarts in their respective fields. Failure is only permanent when we quit. Money, your new best friend. It would be great to create things that we want instead of taking things that we can get when the opportunity arises. Sometimes we convince ourselves that we're happy with what's sensible, but deep inside we know that we want and deserve something better. We know that the better things in life are on the other side of our comfort zones. Buying something that we think is frivolous or beyond our pay rate is perceived as irresponsible. But if we make the firm decision to buy it anyway, it means we are becoming the kind of person who can make that kind of money and do almost anything. We need to break free from the mindset that we can't afford things. The first step is to get something that's completely out of our reach. If we raise the idea of what's possible instead of being merely reachable, we are opening ourselves up to the ways and means to accomplish it. Expanding our beliefs to what's available to us gets us one step closer to getting the things that we thought we couldn't afford. Money is an important currency to acquiring things. Either we use the money we have stashed away for a rainy day, or we wait for money to come about. The latter is clearly the more difficult of the two. We have very strict rules about money that somehow stops us from getting more. We've been raised to believe that getting into debt is irresponsible and we should not do it. This is not always the case because if we take the leap of faith to a new state of being, which we strongly desire to be in, we are able to rise to the occasion and do things we thought we couldn't do. For example, paying off debts. Believe it or not, making money is not just about money. It's largely about believing what is possible to have. Money is energy, and we already know that the universe is vibrating with energy. If we shift our perceptions about money, we start to operate at a higher frequency. In this state of being, we offer no resistance as we take actions to let money manifest itself in our lives. Before we learned about the law of attraction, we were taught that the only way to make money is to work hard. We were not taught that we should align our energy with the financial abundance that we desire. This means we should act as if we are where we want to be and create a life that we have envisioned. Our relationship with money is as important as the action we take to gain it. We need to have a healthy and meaningful relationship with money if we want to get more of it. Remember to surrender. The universe works in mysterious ways, but if we have enough faith in it, things can start changing for the better. There are times when we want something so badly we could taste it, but we don't know how to get it. The reason is that we're pushing it away when we don't surrender. This does not mean we'll just wait for things to happen. We still need to continue taking action, but we also need to let go so that we are ready for what is to come to us. Letting go energetically allows the abundance to come to us instead of forcing it to come to us. It's that part of the progression where we let the universe take over the process and allow it to do its job. If we trust the process, then we are aligning our actions to a higher frequency that signals the universe to do its part. Needless to say, our faith in the universe should be greater than our fear of not getting what we want in life. If we are constantly checking and wondering if the universe is doing its job, then we are not trusting it enough, and this prevents us from reaping the benefits. We need to show the right kind of attitude and do our best with the full belief that the universe is sending us more opportunities. Having doubts and worrying incessantly are forms of resistance. We need to shed doubts, worries, fears, and anxieties so that the universe can continue to conspire to bring the things we desire the most. When we are in a natural state of surrender, we believe that everything that we wish for already exists. Surrendering keeps our energy flowing and connects us to the universe. We should not lose that momentum. Doing versus spewing. Statistics show that only 5% of people who sign up for something like a course, a seminar, or a program do anything with it. This is because even if we desperately want to change our lives, we are not willing to get out of our comfort zones and take risks. What this really means is that we don't want the change as badly as we say we do. Successful people are great at operating outside their comfort zones. It's the only way to thrive even in the most uncertain of circumstances. If we just stay in one place and avoid the obstacles in life, we will not evolve into better people. Without growth, there will be no new knowledge and wisdom. It's the willingness to keep pushing through new challenges that separates the successful people from the unsuccessful ones. Bad habits must go. They are obstacles that keep us from succeeding in life. We must trade these bad habits with good ones. Successful people have good habits in every aspect of their lives, whether it be personal, professional, health, or work. We must determine the good behaviors that will make the biggest and the most positive changes in our lives and turn them into daily habits. When we form these good habits, we are armed with the discipline to act towards the fulfillment of our honest goals. Life either moves forward or shrinks back. We should stop running from the roadblocks in life and start to push through them with an unshakable faith in the universe. We have to learn to be comfortable with trusting the universe so that it becomes second nature. Surrendering is important because it always comes into play when we're trying to figure things out when we are in a sticky situation. We should not be contented with settling because there's so much more in store for us. We just need to decide to make it happen and engage with life and let the universe work for us. Most important of all, we should love ourselves. Beam me up, Scotty. We have to pursue our dreams and desires with the belief that anything is possible. We should start thinking that we deserve the things we aim for. It would be unfair to deny ourselves the life that we want to live just because other people think that it's impossible. It's time to shift our thinking and realize that we are surrounded by miracles. It's time to start loving and respecting ourselves. We're worthy of the things we dream of. Our desires are available to us, and we can have them all if we truly believe it. You Are a Badass provided a refreshing take on the law of attraction with real-world examples and incredible insights on what makes us fail and succeed. Reading this book may just be the push we need to change our lives for the better. We can create the realities that we aspire to just by changing our belief system and loving our true selves. We can learn how to approach different situations by letting go of self-sabotaging behaviors and replacing them with positive habits so that we can receive the great things that we truly deserve.